Well, hello everybody. Hello, how you doing out there? Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is spinning records and listening to music and getting away from the troubles of the world and just vibing to sounds and music. That's what this channel is all about. And I got a big package to share with you guys today in this video. In this video, we're going to talk about this vinyl box set right here. Yeah. Genesis. This is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway 50th Anniversary vinyl box set. Nothing on the back. Woohoo. Really cool package. Really cool. Oh, there it is. Looking for the logo there. I couldn't find it. There we go. Did I do it right side? Yes, I did. Okay. So this has been on my radar for quite a long time. And this thing got delayed. The release date was delayed and delayed and delayed. But finally, it is out for me to purchase and just jump into and really dive into this box set, because this box set is a monster. An absolute monster. They put a really lot of content into this thing, and we're going to go over it and talk about it, so get comfy, because there's 5 LPs in this thing. 5 LPs and a Dolby Atmos mix disc that we'll talk about, and some other little goodies that they packed in here as well. So here we go. The Lamb 50th Anniversary. Probably not my favorite Genesis studio album, but it's in the top 3, I would think, or definitely top 5. But it's not number 1. But it's a damn good album. There's some amazing music on here, and when you got the time to just dive into the whole thing and listen to it from start to finish, and that's a long listen. That is a long listen. You'll be exhausted by the end of it. It does take you on a psychedelic prog ride. And, man, this is just an incredible, incredible album. I like the finish on this. There's like, on these little squares of pictures, it has a glossy finish, and the white background is matte finish. Of course, that's hard to see on here, on camera, but trust me, it's there. It's there. And this is probably going to be about the last time I'm going to hold this box set up like this, because it's heavy. This is a heavy thing. This is not something I want to do for a long time on this video. So there it is. That's what it looks like. Anyway, now we're going to go into the pet peeves. My least favorite thing about this box set is the price. This thing is very expensive. Very, very expensive. Does it need to be that expensive? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Do I feel kind of ripped off by the price, considering what I got? Not really. But as I always say, you got to be a hardcore Genesis fan and a big fan of this album to justify the price of this, which is nearly $200. I could have got it cheaper had I jumped on the pre-order, but long story why I couldn't do that. So I had to wait till like around the release date, and I could finally order it. And yeah, I paid about $200 for this, which I'm ashamed to say. Okay, here one more time, because I really like the look. One of my favorite Genesis album covers, actually. I actually love this cover. It's one of my favorite. I remember when I was first getting into Genesis, I only knew the 80s albums, like Invisible Touch and Abacab and such. I would go to the record store and I would see this album cover, and I would just stare at it like, wow, I bet you there's some really trippy shit on this album. which was always my reaction to it. And I was right, there was, big time. And it wasn't until I got to see Genesis live and they did the In the Cage medley, which inspired me to buy the Seconds Out live album, that I started hearing a few more songs from this album. When I finally did buy the album, I was just like, whoa, what the hell is this? I couldn't follow the story, and the songs were real experimental, and it was hard. By then I expected that of Genesis, but this one was like, wow, this is like really experimental. So it was hard for me to wrap my little mind around it. So this was a tough listen. But in time, I got used to it. I learned to love it. And like I said, one of my favorite Genesis. Not a top favorite, but one of it. So we're going to take the top off, and we're going to dig into this thing. So the first item that you see in this box set is the remastered album. Now, this was remastered back in 2007, and I think even before that on CD. So I think this is number 3. This is, I believe, the third go-around, I guess, of this remastered or remix, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, third time's a charm, I guess. Spectacular as far as the remixing and remastering. Spectacular. A little bit more faithful to the 1974 sound, with just some updates in the soundscaping. The separation is really good. The bass is really thick, but it still has that woody sound that 70s records, I guess, have. It still has that woody sound, but a very more balanced mix, and it sounds so nice on the turntable. So nice. And we have the original inserts, of course, just like the old album. And of course this cool label, which I've always liked. I don't know if I'm holding it the right way. Oh, I'm not. Hard to tell on this camera. And the Genesis logo from '74. Very, very, very nice. It is really cool to hear this album remastered like this. When the remasters of 2007 came out in the green vinyl box, I really liked that mix. And a lot of the 70s Genesis fans and hardcore 70s Genesis fans didn't like it, really complained about it, hated it, basically. Here's the second record with the insert. I actually like that 2007 mix, or remaster, I should say. I thought it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad to still be an owner of it. Here's the second label. This is really cool. Look at that. Nice. And of course, same label as before. Sounds awesome. God, it sounds awesome. So like I said, I was a fan of that 2007 mix, but I really like this one. I want to say I like this more than the 2007. Actually, I think I do. Like I said, it's more faithful to the 1974 mix, and it's just upgraded, and it sounds fantastic. It's the Lamb like you've never heard it before. It's almost like listening, like I say this a lot with remasters, it's like listening to it for the first time, but it really is. And it's exciting when you do that first spin of this remaster, this new 2025 remaster. It is exciting to hear this whole album again. I really love the job they did on the remastering of this. I'm a big fan of it. They made my favorite song sound really good. And let me just grab the bifocals here. Of course, the opening song, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, but Fly on a Windshield sounds great, especially that one part that all us Genesis fans love, that big bassy, punchy intro that leads into the instrumental section of Fly on a Windshield. And that sounds great on here. That bass really punches in that part. It's thick and woody sounding, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I got real excited when I made it to that part of the record. I'm jumping ahead here. In the Cage, same reaction to In the Cage. Sounds fantastic. They really placed the voices and Tony's keyboard sounds kind of in the background a little bit, and it gets pushed into the forefront as the song kind of progresses. It's a nice touch. The surround sound mix does that too, but we'll get to that in a bit. But it really made that song sound fantastic. And then we get to side two. I'm jumping ahead here a lot. Hairless Heart really sounds great, as well as, Back in New York City. Those two songs together sound fantastic on this remaster. Ballsy and punchy with the bass, but the voices sound so clean and crystal clear, and you can really hear the 12-string guitars. Of course, Tony Banks' keyboards. It's a great sound, and it's a great mix. Let's see, Carpet Crawlers actually, and Chamber of 32 Doors really benefited from this remaster. It sounds absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I think I repeated that song a lot. The Waiting Room, of course, the creepy, haunting intro of it with all the spooky sounds jumping from one speaker to the other in the stereo mix on my system here. A very cool sound. I mean, I always love... that's the one song I go to when it comes to remastering. And like I said, this has been remastered a few times, and I always like to go to that song just to see the special treatment they're going to give it, and they give it some cool treatment. So I really love the remaster for Waiting Room, especially when the band comes in towards the end with the jammy part. Nice, very nice. Now we're to my favorite song on this remaster is the song Anyway. I always love that song, and sounds really epic on here. Very epic. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful mix is really all I can say. I love it so much I'm almost at a loss for words. It sounds amazing. It's one of my favorite songs to listen to on this album, as well as the Lamia. Lamia sounds just as beautiful on this one as well, especially Steve Hackett's gorgeous guitar solo at the end, or guitar lead. Just sounds absolutely fantastic. Reminds me actually of why I'm a fan of this album when I hear those two songs. Great, just absolutely great. Jumping ahead again, we're going to talk about the Colony of Slipperman. Really hear the drums and bass go to town on that song. Sounds really cool. Of course, there's the creepy intro, and they're playing with volume. Starts kind of soft and dead center, and then it kind of expands out as the song progresses, and sounds really good. But you really hear the drums and the bass kicking hard on that song. I really love that, as well as Riding the Scree. It's a great song. It's a great song. It's a good instrument. I mean, it's not an instrumental. There's some lyrics to it, but I'm always keying in on the drums, the bass guitar, the keyboards, because they sound so interesting on that track, and it just I almost treat it as if it's an instrumental, even though there's vocals there, which I'm kind of like, my attention's kind of putting it to the side so I can focus on the instruments. It's great. And of course, ending with the great song It, another favorite of mine of this album. Favorite song. I mean, it's a great remaster. If you're a big fan of this album, you're happy. You're very happy, and so was I. That is it's a masterpiece, and it sounds even better now with this remaster. Now, along with the remaster, we get this album, the live recording. Excuse me. the live recording, this is from the Shrine Auditorium, Los Angeles, January 24th, 1975. Lamb Tour. This is a cool recording. And I love the cover art for it, especially that picture. And I love the tri-gatefold. Hopefully I can fit the whole thing in here. It's going to be tough, but there it is without the glare. Hopefully you can see all of that. Excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. That is cool. This is a 3 LP set. 3 LP set of this live recording. Even includes the encore. So the whole Lamb album, records 1 and 2, live. And the last side, side 6, is the encore, which is Watchers of the Skies and the Musical Box. 2 great live versions of those songs. I mean, oh my God. They play those 2 songs fucking killer. But this is a fantastic live album. Now, this came out in a box set, and I should have had this ready for her before I turn this camera on. But it was included in this CD set right here, Genesis Archives, 67 through 75, and you know, just to show you some of it. Now, for years I had that live album, and it's included on the CDs of this, CDs 3 and 4, I believe. And that was a cool thing to have. Really cool. Again, people complain about it because there were some edits made. I think Peter Gabriel redid some of the vocals, and you could hear the difference. I've forgotten what songs it was. And I really didn't hear much of a difference. I was just sitting there enjoying it. So, and I think maybe Steve Hackett might have done some guitar work on it. And it's not in full. I think it only has about half or so. It doesn't have the full version of it. And it doesn't have the encore songs either. So that's why this album, which it's the entire show, and it does fade at the end of it, but it has the encore songs, and this was a big selling point, and to have it on vinyl, very nice. And this is an amazing mix. The mix on this is absolutely fantastic. For a live version, a live recording, which originally was done for the King Biscuit Hour, it sounds fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic, brilliant. And I'll show you the inner sleeves for it. This is record 1 of a 3 record set. So those are the sleeves for it. It's has a black label. Well, first it has this custom label, and then we get to the black label on the other side. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And and of course, Peter Gabriel will introduce before they even start the music, he introduces the story, the character of Rail. This is record 2, the insert for that. And then halfway point, he catches you up on the story. You know, has a funny speech to go with it. Pretty comical. So, really cool. There's the label for record 2, and that same black label I showed you earlier. Fantastic live recording. Makes me wish I had seen this show, but at the time I was only 4 years old. So that wasn't happening, and I'd never heard of Genesis at 4 years old. So, makes me wish I can invent a time machine and go see this show. That's what it inspires me to do. Let me get out the last record here. Over here fighting with this thing. This is the last record, and the insert for it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And I guess it goes this way. The last label for the last record. There we are, and the black. me spin that around. And the black like we've been seeing. Absolutely love the live recording. I'm a big sucker for Genesis live albums. So for me to fall in love with it is no big shock. Genesis always sounds better live than they do on studio recordings. And they sound great on their studio recordings. How they could take it to another level live like that is unbelievable. But that's the magic of this band. They sound better live than they do on record. And like I said, on record they're fantastic. So there we are. These are the 5 LPs you get with this set. Absolutely, that is worth the price right there. I love those 5 LPs. It's a lot of music to dig through, especially when you're hearing that album again. Here's the hype sticker that came with it. I'm going to put it on the front of it as soon as I make a vinyl outside sleeve for it. But there's the hype sticker. Now this sheet right here was on the back of it, the back of the box set. And once you take the shrink wrap off, this just peels right off. And I wish they had printed this on the back of the box set. That would have been a lot better. A lot better, but they didn't. So I'm still keeping it as a little insert. Alright, now we're going to get to the goodies part of this. Now we got this right here. I like that. Nothing on the back. This contains the surround sound mix, or Dolby Atmos mix, as they call it, right here. It comes out of this pocket like that, and there we are. That is the Atmos mix. And I just want to show everything in here, and I'll get back to this. But that's what we got there. And when we open this up, we have a concert ticket that was reproduced. So that's kind of nice. So there's a concert ticket to see them in LA, the Shrine. And the back of the concert ticket is a download code, so you can do high resolution audio downloads of the album, the live album, and then it contains 3 demos from the Lamb sessions at Headley Grange. The demos sound pretty crappy, I gotta admit. They're earlier versions of some songs from the Lamb. It sounds like the band's rehearsing in an empty living room with very high ceilings, and someone recorded with their phone, but they were standing on the other side of the room. That's what it sounds like. Not the best sound quality, but then again, demo, which was probably recorded with 1 room mic, maybe 2, and that's it. And it sounds like it. And it's interesting to hear early versions of the songs and them trying to rehearse together as a band to get it tight before they record it properly. So that was interesting to listen to. I was expecting more, but oh well. So as we open this up, see, there was a ticket. This is the tour program that they reproduced. Thought this was going to be bigger. I didn't think it was going to be that small, but anyway, it's still nice to have it. And I've never seen this. I'll just show you the center picture. Hopefully there's not too much glare from the light. But there we are. I mean, I was hoping that it would be bigger, but it, like I said, still cool to have. I'm glad they included it. And I thumbed through. I didn't read any of this yet. But yeah, nice to have. Nice to have. I hope that light, it's not really catching the light, so. But anyway, really cool. And there's the back cover of it. It shows a face in the wood grain there if you look closely. And if I can get it in the light without it glaring up on you. So really cool to have a duplicate of the tour program. That is nice. That is nice. And we'll put that back in its spot. And it came with a poster. This poster advertises the LA shows and a San Diego show as well. for Southern California back in 1975. And there's a poster. I'll even give you a closer look there. Really cool thing to have. That's a cool part of this. So really glad they included that. Very nice, very nice. So you got the Atmos mix, tour program, a reproduction of the ticket, and the Atmos, like I said, Atmos mix. And yeah, let's talk about the Atmos mix real quick. Well, actually, no, I'll hold off on that. Because there's one more thing left in this, and that is this book that they include in it with rare pictures and an essay written by some journalist who I forgot, who I've never heard of. Same thing with the Phil Collins box that came out recently. And whoever wrote the essays, I never heard of these guys. Finally read the whole Phil Collins thing. Yet to read this one. This book is okay. I was expecting something better. There's like 60 pages, so I won't go through every single one, but just to show you, give you a general idea of what it looks like. These photos, I think, it could have been reproduced better so they kind of jump off the page. They're kind of blah looking a little. You know, I was hoping for better quality photos that just leap out at you and put you in that time period, but it still kind of does. And there's a picture of them in front of Headley Grange. God, it's hard to catch this light, and when I catch it, I get glare, so bear with me, folks. I'm trying. Yeah, the book is just so-so. It does have some pictures that I've never seen before. Maybe Ultra fans probably have seen a lot of these pictures already. God, it's not really catching it that good. The light, I mean. But it is still interesting to go through, and I like it. I mean, some of these photos I have seen before, some of them I didn't. This is kind of interesting. Shows you how they did the photography for the front cover of the album. See that? And that part too, but maybe hard to see. Sorry. But it is still interesting to go through this. This one I like. This is actually taken in LA in 75. And of the band. I really like that one. And you can see in the background the billboard of the Lamb album. Advertising the album and probably their shows while the band was in Los Angeles. So that's a good photo. I like that one. So, I mean, the book is still good. I was hoping for more. I wish this was like a hardcover book, but oh well. I still like going through it. It's still interesting, and it's a good thing to thumb through while you're listening to the album, or the live album, or the Atmos mix. So really nice, really nice. And that's all the goodies that is included in this package. I wanted to talk about the Atmos mix. That's why I wish I hadn't put it back. Dolby Atmos mix. Now, which is basically a surround sound mix. This is a fancy new technology way of saying surround sound mix. It's the latest technology. And Genesis has always been a band that likes to dabble in the latest technical audio stuff. Anyway, in 2007, this box set came out on CD. And, you know, and it had all the Gabriel era albums on it. And this was their remaster on CD for the Lamb, and it came in a hard case booklet, small CD booklet. And it came with 2 CDs of the stereo mix and 1 CD of the surround sound mix. And now on the DVD, the DVD audio mix, or SACD, whatever it was called, compared to the Dolby Atmos, which is this guy right here, which is better? Well, I'm going to slightly give this the edge, though I love